If I look at the guys like the Elon Musks and the Gandhis, like they've had challenges. Like I've seen the stories, like Elon Musk with SpaceX, for example, like his last rocket with the rest of his
Oh,
PayPal money
can you
was about to
imagine?
explode, right? Like there must be moments that he would have been like, that island cocktail and cigar looks like a really good idea.
Right,
But for
right.
some reason, he kept going on that
Oh, so
path.
good. Yep.
But it seems like is this what I'm glancing at? Is like when you're on the right path, that frustration or that failure that might come isn't just coming in as a frustration, but instead is still done with a smile on your face. Is that what
Well,
should we
yeah, yeah.
expect?
No,
What's
I'm glad you're hitting on this. Like sometimes people think that surrender is like la la unicorns and violins and just surrender. Like because the self-help books, I think a lot of the self-help books are just trying to sell people. It's like sell people on this idea. It's like you just, surrender and like everything manifests just like that. And the violins play and you just poof, get what you want. Just see it in your. It's like, I don't think that's the truth. If it ain't like that for Elon Musk, it sure as hell ain't like that for most of us. And so I think we have to be real. Like surrender, people think it's like, yeah, you just go with the flow. And what does that mean? And so entrepreneurs like you, like, to hell with surrender, just go with the flow. Like, so we think like that means just go with the flow. Like what I feel like eating 4 Haagen-Dazs tubs of ice cream, that's surrender. That ain't surrender. That's being not disciplined, and that's being lazy. I'm just gonna like cheat on my wife because I have this attraction to this other woman, and that's just going with the flow. No, that's being a slave to your to your biochemistry and your ego and maybe even your dysfunction. That is not. Sometimes surrender is saying no. Sometimes surrender means digging deep and doing what you don't always feel like doing and not following and being a slave to the fleeting mood in the moment. Because, like, I'll give you an example. I've written 2 best-selling books, one in 2016, The Magic of Surrender, a couple of years ago. I never sat down and felt the bliss and joy of writing. This romantic idea of sitting down, overlooking, Rome somewhere and writing. It's like never. It was just freaking hell, man. I'm like, I would rather stick a nail in my eyeball than sit down and write my book. I mean, I don't like the process of writing. But you know what? The surrender is knowing what's aligned and having the commitment to a deeper possibility, being committed to a deeper intention than just the mood in the moment is what moves you through the momentary natural resistances of the ego that will come up. And so sometimes it might not feel good in the moment. Like when I exercise, I pretty much exercise every day, not for aesthetic, just because I want my body to be strong. But I guarantee you, most of the time, I don't feel like waking up. Most of the time, I'm not in the mood. Left to my own devices, following the flow, I would just roll in bed and fall asleep for another couple of hours. But no, I wake myself up because I know that when I wake up and I exercise, I always feel better afterwards. When I wake up and exercise, even if I've had 4 hours of sleep and now I've sweat for an hour, I'm alert, I'm awake. And now, based on being in the right state, I'm able to serve more people. And the commitment to serving more people, there's a deeper calling to that than just how I feel in a momentary mood of the moment. And so I just want to make clear, sometimes surrender is discipline. Sometimes, and there's a freedom in discipline. Sometimes surrender is saying no. Sometimes surrender might mean you have to say no to that smoking of that marijuana for the 4th time. Sometimes surrender might have to say no to that donut. Sometimes surrender might have to say no to having sex with that person that you kind of feel attracted to, but afterwards you're probably not going to feel very good. Sometimes it requires a level of discipline and sacrifice. And to me, that's where the real freedom is. Like, what is real freedom? Real freedom, we think, is just being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however many times I want, with whoever I want. Is that freedom, or is that just being a slave to your conditioning? The deeper I have gone, and I just speak from my own experience, the deeper I have gone, on my own spiritual journey. This might sound strange, but stick with me. The deeper I've gone, the less choice I feel I have, the freer I feel. Because some of the shit I used to, well, should I do that? It is no longer an option anymore. And so the next level, does that make sense? The next level of your life is going to require that you give up certain things that you used to do, because it's no longer in alignment with where your soul is seeking to evolve to, where your soul is seeking to go. The more in ego I used to be, the more choice I thought I had, the more limited I actually was, you know, and that's the paradox. And so as an exercise example, I made exercise to be no longer a choice to no longer be a choice. And so for me, as in a micro sort of practical level, that's an example of surrender. It's like, I just surrendered to like, I'm going to exercise every freaking day. Doesn't matter, 4 a.m., 2 a.m., if I have to catch a plane, I'm going to surrender every day because I feel better. When I feel better, I can serve more people. So the commitment is to that deeper service. So now when it's a choice to no longer be a choice, there's freedom. So even if I wake up not in the mood, the mind can do whatever it wants to do. It's like, I'm still going to freaking exercise. It doesn't matter. That's the possibility of surrender. I'm still going to make that phone call, that sales call to speak to that client. It doesn't matter, even if I'm feeling afraid or a little tired. I'm going to pick up the phone and make that cold call. It doesn't matter, because I know that potential client that might buy my service or product, their lives can change, and my commitment is to transform a life, not just my own self-focused fear.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.